Welcome to Three Things. Tonight's guest is a longtime guy in White Sox Twitter circles. He's one of the OGs at Sports Mockery and is the current host of the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast that features both White Sox and Cubs talk. He's a two-time participant in the 108 tourney, even making an Elite Eight appearance in the 2020 tournament. And last but not least, he's my downtown lunch buddy, or at least he was before COVID-19 hit. I'd like to welcome to the stage a man that uses his pulpit for good and not evil. That is Father Zoe, Matt Zawaski. Matt, welcome to Three Things.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
What's up, dude?
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me.
I can't help but notice the picture behind you. What the fuck?
Oh, this thing? Oh, this back here? Oh, I'm sorry. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. How do I get this off? Oh, that just happens to be future All-Star second baseman Nick Madrigal.
I like that you post your head right there too, so you can like suck him off verbally and like right in your face. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know, me neither.
He's the subject of much conjecture right now because he's invited to the 44-man group that's going to be at Sox Park, but it's unclear if he actually makes the roster, the first 30 men. I mean, any opinion on that, Zoe?
So I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I will openly admit that, and I've heard 50 different things about service time, and I am so fucking confused. It's not even funny. But the one that I've kind of wrapped my head around is if he sits out 7 days, that equals a year.
Okay.
So I think maybe he sits out a week, and then so they get their extra year of control. We all love it. It's the most bullshit thing in the world, but 7 days apparently equals a year. So I'm probably going to get torched by like a James Fox or somebody for getting that wrong, but it's fine. I get it. That's just my understanding as of right now. So I think if service time comes into play, they're going to play that game with him. But I also think, and I've said this on Pinwheels a bunch of times, you don't have that luxury of easing into a season in a 60-game sprint. You got to come out of the gates hot, and you want your best players right away.
Right. And that's absolutely the truth, too. The guys that are the high-contact guys are the guys that have the best chance to streak like a motherfucker. Like him or Tim Anderson, those guys could hit the shit out of the ball for 30, 40 games and carry your ass. Like, usually it's the sluggers that take a little while to get warmed up or can kind of go through a little more slump. These guys can get hot as hell by just putting a bat on the ball all the time.
I want that to happen. I want some asshole to hit like 450 this year. Like,
shatter records.
How big will that asterisk be right next to that record?
Oh, people will be so mad.
It'll be so huge.
So
They'll be like, this is worse than drugs. Fuck me, these 60-day seasons. That's all we needed.
Rogers Hornsby will rise from the dead and try to kill the guy, zombie style.
Yeah.
They should bring back Bond, see if he can hit 75 in the 60 games.
Yeah, or bring back bounce homers. And maybe that will work too.
I still contend Babe Ruth had 15 bounce homers.
At least, right?
I can't wait for the records to be shattered. We're going to have – and it's going to be batting average, on base percentage. It's
ERA.
ERA.
Yep.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic.
I mean, what do you think's the upper bound of a team wins in a 60-game season? It's gonna be like 47 or something, right? I mean, like,
wow, that would be
on a streak like that, right?
That's a lot.
You know what though? Like
That's
the
a good
Dodgers will
60
do
games.
that. The Dodgers will do that.
37?
Get bounced in the first round.
I can see it.
53-7, and they lose in the first round. That's a perfect Dodgers season.
70% wins is 42, right? So you'd think someone could go over 70% for just a 60-game track. It's got to be possible.
Yeah.
I mean, anything's possible, but I think I think more the flip side is what we're going to see. I think the Detroit Tigers are going to set a new record for amount of losses in a season. Or I'm sorry, least amount of wins. That's the better way to put it. Least amount of wins.
Least amount of wins.
Yeah. 20 years from now, some kid's going to look back and be like, fucking Detroit won 7 games in 2020?
All against the White Sox.
Oh, shit.
That would be the worst.
Oh, I want to laugh at that, but I can't because it's probably true.
They missed the playoffs by 1 game and go 3-7 against the Tigers.
Oh.
The Sox will lose 14 games all year, 7 to the Royals, 7 to the Tigers. Each of those teams will have under 10 wins.
Be perfect.
That's so scary. That's how accurate that could be. I'm so nervous that no. It's like when the Bulls went 72-10, they lost to the Raptors. That was the team that got them that year.
Yeah.
They lost to the Raptors twice or something like that. That's the only team that
Ridiculous.
beat them twice.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Totally fucking insane.
I'll
All right,
take
so
14 losses.
Yeah, but there's no question about that. So that was thing one. Now, thing two, Father Zoe, is a question from you for all of us in the group to answer.
So Father's O is more for my preaching, but I am actually going to become a father by the name of Zoe in early November, God willing. And I have never taken a child to a baseball game. So I know the three of you have experience, taking nieces, nephews. I know treat nieces and nephews, sons, daughters. So I just was going to ask you for any pointers on how to take a child and when is appropriate to take a child to the first baseball game.
You want to
Summer,
you
you got to go first. Yeah, you go first.
Okay, I'll go first. I think with Little Miss Shortstop, I think we waited 2 months before we went. I think it was like 4th of July. Yeah. And we think we went 4th of July, and she's born in May. So I don't know. Is it May, June, July? Yeah, so we about 3 months we waited. And we sat in the upper deck, so we weren't down below, I think, when we took her. But yeah, she first game, she saw a win, 4th of July against the Yankees. So that was cool. The second one, I think we waited 2 weeks. So it's just like, and the funny thing is that I think we took her, it might have been a month, but it was very close. It was very soon after she was born. And she sat in the 108 and a foul ball bounced right by her before, like one of the first innings or something. And my wife was like, okay, I gotta go. Like, we can't leave her here. Like, she can't stay here. I was like, oh, that's fine, But it's, I've taken two, mostly last year. Last year was the big year of taking both of them to the park at the same time. Once she got out of the you'll have like those little carry-alls, the baby Bjorns. Once my oldest, Ramon, my youngest, got out of that, it was like much harder because she's moving all over the place. She thinks she can walk, but she can't walk. And the ground at US Cellular Field is not like, forgive me. It's like all cement. Like, and if you fall, you got busted knees. So it's pretty. I mean, it's like you want her to go, and you don't want to cause a fight or have her start screaming at you, but you're also like, you're going to be a bloody mess. So I would say Little Miss Shortstop was good to go. Like at 2 years old, she was fine, because then you can give her cotton candy and you can let her chill, and she will sit for like a few innings. But the biggest thing of everything is you just have to be ready to fucking go, and don't expect it to be a fun time or relaxing or enjoy anything about it. You just have to be ready to go. You have to be like, I gotta go. I gotta get the fuck out of here. Like, right now is the time to leave. So yeah. That would be my only big thing is like, don't think, oh fuck, I get to watch 9 innings of baseball, she'll fall asleep. No, she won't. And like, oh no, she's gonna sit here and watch and let me watch my game. No, she won't. No. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I could piggyback off of that a little bit because Bonita Stakey's 10 years old now, so she's been through all these phases. I would not have taken her to any games that early on, just because they get no enjoyment out of it at that age. That's just dad trying to catch the game, and the kids don't really kind of want to be there. But you're right, my Sox Summer. By the time they get to like 2 or 3, they can really enjoy the treats that are available there. And man, we spoiled Little Miss Shortstop because Uncle Wally Money and Uncle Beefloaf like to buy all kinds of treats when the kids are there, and my Sox Summer maybe doesn't want his kids eating all that stuff, so we got them all up on the sugar high. So from like 2 to 4, 2 to 6 age, they like the treats and stuff. The other thing is they're gonna want to walk around. They don't want to be in that seat that entire goddamn time. They want to go and move and do something. So either you're not going to watch the game, or your wife's not going to watch the game, or both of you aren't going to watch the game because you'll be walking around and stuff. now my daughter, last season, she was 9 during the season. She has a phone. She can take care of herself during the game. We don't have to say shit to her. And actually what she'll do is she'll be snapping pictures of people acting like idiots throughout the crowd. And then she'll show Teresi and myself and my son, hey, look at this. You guys want to tweet this? And it's like, you know, she can kind of take care of herself. So when they get to a certain age, you can get them on the iPad, you can get them on the phone, and then they can kind of like entertain themselves. And they'll check in. When there's a home run or something fun going on, they'll jump up and high five and be in on it. But otherwise, they can be off in their own world. So that's my whole, like, from maybe a year and a half, 2 years to 10 years, the whole spectrum of what I've gotten so far.
Fair enough.
So let me break it down for you. So, because you've probably already taken a child to the game and you just don't know it. So think about a time that you've gone out for a game, and like, let's call it a Saturday 6 p.m. game, and your boys are like, hey, let's start at like noon today, right? And then your one boy, for some reason, you get stuck with him, and you got to take this dude in the game, and he's just out of his mind, might throw up on himself. You never know, right? This is exactly what it's like having a kid at the game, because they can't really pay attention to the game. It's just, it's beyond them at this point. They still want things, and they still need constant attention, because you never know what's going to happen. So you've got to check in on this person like every few pitches just to make sure that things are okay. You got to let the people around you know what's going on, so that, you know, they're in the splash zone. So you got to let people know what's going on. And then you got to be ready at a moment's notice to just carry this person out, because they just have had enough, and it's just all over for that person. So I assume you've had this experience. I know these guys had that experience with me prior to them having children. So they already knew what they were in for, and they chose to do it anyways, beyond me. But
good training.
But that's basically what you got.
That's a fantastic way to put it. And I've been the caretaker and the caretakee in that situation before. So I know that very well, and that's a lot to look forward to. You guys really made it sound fun.
Zoe, I'll tell you this story because it's needs to be told, and I think I've told it before, but who knows? I took both of them to a game, and it happened to be that fateful day against Kansas City, where Tim Anderson hit that walk or hit the home run and threw the bat and all the fights, right? And when we were walking in, we sat in Aloha Mr. Hand's old seats, which were right behind home plate. And to our direct immediate left was a pregnant Ashley Rodon. And so she kept looking back and going, she's like, that's crazy. Like, I don't know how you can do this. And I'd go, well, you better fucking get ready to do this, because this is what you're going to be doing. But she'll have help probably. But, so she was cool. We were watching it. Well, when Tim Anderson hits the home run, he launches the bat. My 2-year-old at the time, she was 2 at the time, jumps out of her seat and is screaming and yelling because Tim Anderson's her favorite player. She loves Tim Anderson. Okay. So that happens. Then next time Tim's up, they throw at him, and the fight ensues. I'm holding the youngest. I jump up and I go, what whatever. And then she jumps up and she goes, what's going on? And I go, they just threw at Timmy. She's like, that's not good. And I was like, no. I go, Timmy's going to fight. And she's like, no, Timmy, don't fight. It was just the funniest thing ever. So we'll talk about it. We still talk about that because she loves, I am not kidding. Like, she loves Tim Anderson.
That's awesome.
She fucked up because she met Tim Anderson's oldest daughter at Sox Fest 2 years ago, and she gave her the cold shoulder. And I was like, this was your shot, man. This was our shot to have a play date with Tim Anderson and all his family. And, I'd be cool with Tim Anderson now. And no, she screwed it up. She gave her a cold shoulder.
I like that she didn't screw it up for herself. She screwed it up for Dad being best friends with Tim Anderson.
Yeah.
The autograph opportunities have just dried up. She screwed the whole thing up.
No, seriously, though. How funny would it be right now, though, like if me and Tim Anderson were good friends, and all of a sudden you just see Tim Anderson just peek around the corner, he's like, who are you talking about, bitch? Or something. This sounds real funny. I think that would be great. Like, hey, you guys got time to do 3 things today? I'd be like, no, I don't. Tim Anderson's coming over, and I'm going to throw him fungos in the backyard, or something. It's just, I had a plan.
Hidden
And
fungos.
fucked it up.
What was it?
I very much agree. Tim Anderson calling you a bitch would be fantastic.
Is he on Cameo? Can we get that done?
Do you guys remember the show The League, the fantasy football show that was on FX?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there was an episode where one of the main character found out that his daughter goes to the same kindergarten as Jay Cutler's kid. And he tries to set it up where he drops her off at the same time so he can like get a play date with Cutler. Like same exact scenario you just described.
Oh
Fantastic.
man, it's so awesome.
Beautiful.
I am a steel trap of useless bullshit knowledge.
Hey,
That's
welcome to
perfect
the
for
club,
podcasting,
sir.
though.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was thing 2, a very entertaining thing 2. Thing 3 is a question from us. And so, as I told Terezi, I was going back and forth between 2 different questions. And because this is the weirder question, I'm going to go with that one. So I apologize in advance, Father Zoe.
To the left.
So,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
exactly. Well, it's funny you mentioned that. This week, Twitter was ablaze based on a list that someone made of their top 370 favorite porn stars of all time. So my question is for you guys, what are you fairly confident that you could make a list of 370 top of and pull it together in like a week and throw it out there on Twitter? Could be absolutely anything. And I'm happy to start. Okay, because I thought about this and I thought, what kind of list would I think would be really fun? And my list would be the top 370 animal species that I would like to have as pets at my house. And now that I got the cold tub in the backyard, Treasy, penguins are in. They're in the top 20 now. Polar bears moved into the top 50 after that. You know, like the hot
It's all
tubs-
open. It's all
It's-
open now.
It's wide open. I added a bunch of these extra ones, you know, like a lot of the big cats are going to be in the top 10. I think I got my kettlebells in the backyard. You ever see them at the zoo where they play with bowling balls and shit? They got stuff to play with. I got it lined up. I may do this and do it as a blog post and just do my top 370 animals. Tarantulas probably in the bottom. They're going to be in like 350 or 355 or something. Not a big spider guy, but you know, I think I can handle that. What about you guys? What can you handle 370 of for a list?
So,
Go ahead, Teresa.
I mean, I can go.
Or Zoe. One of you two.
I mean, I feel like I've got to do music related, right? Because
I think
like,
so, yeah.
that's my wheelhouse, and I could probably dig up, 370 of something. So what I will look at, because this is, nowadays happens way less because we have the internet and music is basically free to everybody. But it used to not be, and records used to go gold all the time. So I would make a list of the 370 worst gold records of all time. Like I would think probably Elmo and Patsy, Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer went gold, and I could put that as the shining bright star at number 1.
How dare you, you son of a bitch. And if you put Ace of Base on there, I will kick your fucking ass. How's that sound?
I mean, imagine how many
I saw the sign, goddammit.
Imagine how many of these won Grammys too. And beat out things that you love. I'm pretty sure Ace of Base beat Green Day for a best new artist back in the day.
Good. Fuck Green Day.
I think it's Ace of Base. Isn't it Ace of Base?
What did I
That's
say?
what I said.
I think you said
of Base.
Ace 2 Base.
No. I did not say Ace to Base.
I think you said Ace to Base.
All right.
I'm fucking really high too, so
It's not showing. Don't worry.
That's
No,
kind
I
of why
know.
I chose this
pretty
question.
not.
All right, one of you guys.
Man,
Go
I
ahead.
can you got it? You got it, Zoe? Are you thinking?
I think I can, just because the music, I think I could bounce and just do movies movies and TV shows or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I watch a ton of movies. And as you can see, I can pull scenarios from The League from 15 years ago out of my ass at random times. I'm a big movie guy. I like everything, same thing with music really is just, if it's good, I'll listen to it. I don't really give a shit what genre it is, but no, movies, I think I could, 370 is a lot though.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
That's why that list was so impressive. It's like I read through that list, and and I'm not an aficionado like my guy, my sock, somewhere there, but
my God.
It would take me 30 or 40 names to even recognize a name that I knew. And I was thinking, how many different types of things would you see a list like that? And you're like, someone's like, I'm going to list my favorite 370 cookies, and I only know 12 of the cookies that they even mentioned. Like, that's how weird it is to have that many fucking things in a list and just like fire it off there on the internet. That's insane.
Yeah. I mean, that guy's got to have forearms like Popeye. Holy shit.
He's got the veins sticking out like Iggy Pop.
Gee, that's just 370. That's just so much time.
Right?
And,
It's a real commitment to excellence right there.
oh, fuck. Yeah, I'm going to go movies. Final answer, movies. And also, in 1995, Sheryl Crow won Best New Artist, beating out Ace of Base, Counting Crows, Crash Test Dummies, and Green Day.
Okay, Sheryl Crow one. Okay, at least
You were
at
right
least
there,
that's
though.
a
That was fucking impressive as hell.
respectable musician at least.
Very drinky. Very
Oh, well,
drinky.
At one point. At one.
And she was with Lance Armstrong.
Uh-huh.
When
Yeah,
Lance
that's the
dumped
most.
his wife, and then he went over with Sheryl Crow, I think.
That's the worst
Yep.
part of her whole catalog.
The Lance years.
Relationship with Lance Armstrong.
Yes.
Can I get that deleted from my wiki? That's why my sock summer paid $3.16 to get that out of
Yep.
there.
So-
For.
So
Make
with
sure
the
that
movies,
stays
is
up.
it like any specific type of thing? Like, is it like movies with, with famous athletes or something
No,
like that?
if I have to fill 370 slots, I can't be specific. It's just 370 movies that I like, and if you don't like them, fuck you. I mean, it's just I think that's pretty much how I would go, and probably after 100, I'm just gonna start naming movies. I'm just like.
So
I
can you
don't know.
give me an approximate ranking for the movie Gremlins? Where does that slide in the 370? What do you think?
132.
Attaboy, yeah, attaboy. That's probably like the 7th highest Christmas movie. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing in your list.
Yep. Getting 132. I'm more upset with you, Treasy, because I'm looking at these Best New Artist winners. And 1994 was bullshit. Tony Braxton beat out Blind Melon and Diggable Planets.
Oh my god!
That just made me really upset. I'm
Whoops.
And to be fair, Tony Braxton had the longest career out of those three artists, so
That's true.
You know,
That's
Well,
probably
staying
that's
alive
probably
helps.
Right.
I mean,
Staying alive.
Allegedly.
Oh, Soup was garbage. I didn't like that album. That's not good.
how dare you?
So
I was just gonna say.
I
how
know
dare you.
I'm such a jackass.
That's the better album.
I like the first one. I like the first one a lot. Actually,
All right, we'll
Changes
fight
is
later.
Really good.
You got to come up with an
All right.
answer.
Yeah.
Let's talk with that later. I'm going to go with, and I had some issues with that list too, because Sarah J was in the top 10, and I'm a Sarah J stan, but
Hey.
she is not top 10. So
If
She might have
Barack
had 2
Obama
years if
follows
she's top
you, you're top 10.
I mean, that's
That's
true.
right. That's absolutely right.
It's very odd. And then I also was looking through it, and I didn't see Jenna Jameson in like the top 100, and I was kind of confused by that because I thought it was all time, and I was like, oh come on, you got to put Jenna in the top 25,
OG.
at least how she used to be. So I'm gonna go with God. I've had several thoughts, and man, I don't think I've ever had that many. I don't think I've had that many different kinds of beer. So I don't think I could do that. But I've had many moments, like I've had my top 370 cigarette and a beer moments in my life. Like I think that would be a fun list to put together.
Yeah,
Like,
that sounds great. Actually,
like I was driving in the car for forever and like a really bad downpour, and I couldn't drink before I could go. But as soon as I got to my destination, I cracked that first, like probably a Bud Light, and then ripped on that Marlboro Ultralight, and I was like, oh, this is so worth it. Get all the way here. Or like, maybe a first rendezvous with my wife or something, and I ran out to the balcony after we had a party, and I go out and I crack that beer and have a drag of that cigarette. Like I could put out some really good moments, because that's one of the things that I miss most about the smoking cigarettes is like those days or those defining times. You just be like, all right, I just accomplished 5 things. Now I'm going to go out and smoke. It was the best. But
That's what the world needs, a book about how great it is to smoke.
Well, no.
A good call.
How great it was the smoke. Was the smoke. Like,
All right.
So I think that would be.
I thought you were going to go with commercials with Shaq in it, but I guess I can do that list later.
Next
then.
time.
There's only 375, so it's a tight list.
Absolutely excellent. Father Zoe, thanks so much for joining us, brother. We appreciate you having you on. We still want to get you on the podcast when we start doing the podcast a little more regularly. Best of luck with Pinwheels and Ivy. And tell my guy Nuke when you talk to him next. Got to keep that flow going, baby. I know he's a professor and shit now, but you got to keep that flow the way it needs to be. All right, he can't let me down and cut short like you got right now.
Yeah, I'll let our intern know. I'll let my intern know that he's got to keep that hair nice and long.
I saw that.
Yep. He's been playing hooky, so we got demoted to intern. So I'll let him know next coffee run. He's got to keep the flow going. Well, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. This 3 Things series has been fantastic to watch during the quarantine. You guys always come up with great content for the community, and I really appreciate it. So thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot, man. We
Thanks,
appreciate
bro.
that.
Take care, man.
Talk to you soon.
Later, guys.
Bye.